So let us start a new toxicant, copper. So now we have to start with the toxicity or copper toxicosis. Regarding copper is concerned as a toxicant as well as at its physiological function, copper act as trace element and participating in various physiological process in which copper is catalyzes the heme synthesis and as well as the iron absorption. Regarding toxicity of copper is concerned, it leads to both acute as well as the chronic toxicity. But the chronic toxicity is very important pertaining to the copper. If you are going to compare the highly susceptible species amongst the animal, you will find sheep as well as the dog, both from ruminant and monogastric animal respectively, are susceptible. I mean, sheep and dogs are susceptible, highly susceptible, or you can say the more susceptible to the toxicosis or toxicity, and both the toxicity is concerned to the chronic copper toxicity. So chronic copper toxicity in sheep and the dog. So this is very important. Regarding other ruminants are concerned, the cattle and other ruminant are less sufferer. However, if you are going to compare monogastric animal with the ruminants, ruminants are rather somewhat more susceptible than the monogastric animal. So chronic toxicity in dog is concerned with the copper is because of the genetic predisposition, and this is because of the autosomal recessive trait. So those breed which possess a particular genetic predisposition like autosomal genetic traits, then they are going to suffering from the chronic toxicity with the copper. Amongst the different breed which are highly susceptible with the chronic copper toxicity as per their genetic predisposition are breeds are Bedlington Terriers, then other breeds are also concerned to the toxicity. The same type of chronic toxicity is also found in the human being, and the disease that produce with the copper chronic toxicity in human is called Wilson disease. And this is also, as I mentioned, similar to the dog, I mean the genetic predisposition. Human being is also possessing accumulation of copper is because of its inherited trait, and therefore this is going to produce the copper toxicity because of accumulation of copper in organ like liver, brain and other vital organ, and thus produce Wilson disease in human being. So now we have to go through both acute and chronic toxicity. Other properties or salient feature of the copper is that the most affected organ or main affected organ with copper toxicity, particularly the acute copper toxicity, is liver and kidney and GI tract. In this, liver, kidney are also the same type of organ affected with the chronic toxicity. So liver, kidney, RBC are the affected parts with chronic problem, chronic copper toxicity. However, with the acute, the organ are liver, kidney and GI tract. So this is very important. So the physiological function of copper, as we earlier mentioned, that this is a trace animal and participating in various physiological function of the body. Likewise, many physiological enzymes are dependent on the copper. The enzymes like cytochrome C oxidase, superoxide dismutase, lysyl oxidase, and dopamine beta hydroxylase. When the copper is in bind form, then the chances of toxicity is very, very less. So usually you will find copper is in binding form with a protein, metalloprotein, that is called metalloprotein, and that metalloprotein is mainly seen in liver cell, that is the hepatic cell, called hepatic metallothionein. So copper are going to bind with this protein and stored in the liver, and whenever the copper get freed, then the freed copper or free copper is going to produce reactive oxygen species and hydroxyl radical, and therefore produces toxicity through lipid peroxidation of the physiological membrane or cell membrane, and damage the nucleic acid and cellular protein. So usually the free copper is responsible for the toxicity. Regarding the other property of the copper is concerned, the absorption of the copper is dependent on many elements or the compounds like zinc, iron, molybdenate, sulfate. So these element or compound are a determinant, act as a determinant for the absorption of the copper. So if these are in balanced form, usually copper toxicity will not occur, and if these are not in balanced form, then the chances of copper accumulation in liver is more, and therefore thus produce the copper toxicity. The main route of excretion of copper in mammals is bile, and that will excrete out through the feces. So major route of excretion of the copper is bile, and also excreted through the urine. And that is why the liver is most important regarding the toxicity of copper is concerned. Now we have to go through the other property, like what are the factors that influence the copper. So the factors which influence the copper and thus responsible for copper toxicity are: first one is a species. So we earlier mentioned the copper toxicity is mainly concerned to two species, particularly the chronic copper toxicity. The species are sheep and the dogs, and other species are also susceptible to the copper. However, poultry is rather somewhat resistant to the copper poisoning. So the main toxicity is in sheep and dogs and other ruminants also, but these two are the very, very important, because these two species, the important point is that why these species are important with the toxicity of the copper, because sheep as well as dogs are going to accumulate the copper in the liver. So when the liver get store the accumulate the copper, and if they get too much amount of copper in the storehouse liver, then the liver is going to release the copper, and therefore thus produce the toxicity. So that is why these species are important. The second factors which influence the copper toxicity is the interaction. As we earlier mentioned, the element or compound like molybdenum or molybdate, then we earlier mentioned the sulfate, then the zincs. They are influencing the absorption of copper from the GI tract. So if there is low level of molybdenum as well as sulfate is found in the dietary component, then the more amount of copper is going to be absorbed and therefore produce the toxicity. So this should be in a proper balanced way. Now third factor which affecting the toxicity is the breed. So as we earlier mentioned, the chronic toxicity of copper is also concerned to the dog, particularly the breeds breed concern, because particular breeds of dog, they are showing the genetic predisposition like autosomal genetic predisposition, and therefore they are going to accumulate more copper in the liver because of the genetic predisposition, genetic property. This is autosomal property, and this will store more copper in the liver and produce the toxicity. So breed that showing this type of genetic predisposition are Bedlington Terrier, then Skye Terrier, Highland White Terrier, West Highland White Terrier, then Doberman Pinscher, Labrador Retrievers, Quiche Hounds, American Cocker Spaniels. So these breeds are having the property to accumulate the copper because of predisposition of genetic predisposition, and therefore produce the chronic hepatogenous copper toxicity. This is all about the factor which influences the copper toxicity. These are the points: species, then the interactions, and then the breeds. Now we have to go through the toxicity, which type of toxicity the copper is going to produce mainly. So we earlier mentioned that copper is going to produce acute as well as the chronic toxicity. So chronic toxicity in sheep and chronic toxicity in dogs, and this is because of the accumulation of the copper in the liver. Regarding regarding chronic toxicity is concerned in sheep, first in initial phase the sheep is going to accumulate the copper, and second stage of the chronic copper toxicity in sheep, when the accumulation get too much in the liver and liver is not going to store much more further copper in the liver, then this is going to be released, and once this copper is get released in the blood or in the cytoplasm of the liver, the toxicity is going to be seen in the sheep. And as well as when there is any stress condition, at that time the stored copper from the liver is released and therefore producing the acute hemolytic crisis as well as the liver toxicity. So this is about toxicity of the copper, that is the acute and chronic toxicity, and chronic toxicity is two types as per the species is concerned in the sheep and the dog. Now we have to go through the one by one the toxicity. So first is the chronic acute copper toxicosis or acute copper toxicity. Regarding acute copper toxicity is concerned, this type of toxicity occur only when the animals are going to take high concentration of the copper, and thus this is going to produce the acute toxicosis or toxicity. And usually this type of toxicity is not seen in veterinary medicine. So this is important one. Regarding and target organ is concerned, we earlier discussed the main target of acute toxicity are similar to the chronic toxicity and are liver and kidney, as well as in acute toxicity gastrointestinal tract. So now we have to go through the sources of the toxicant, I mean the copper. So copper sulfate we are using as a foot bath is also a source of copper toxicity in sheep. Also we are using fungicide or algicide are the source of copper toxicity. Now we have to go through the toxicodynamics of the acute copper toxicity. So mechanism of toxicity of the copper as acute toxicity is as the copper property of the copper is concerned, copper is an oxidant as well as irritant. So because copper is an oxidant as well as irritant, so because of irritancy and oxidant property, they are going to oxidize the gastrointestinal mucosa, and therefore if there is irritation as well as the oxidation of the GI mucosa occur, this is going to produce the coagulative necrosis. And when there is necrosis occur in gastrointestinal tract, this is going to produce the toxicity symptom concerned to the GI tract. What type of toxicity symptom that is going to produce? That is the vomission, then the colic, then vomission, then the colic, then there is hemorrhagic diarrhea, then if there is hemorrhagic diarrhea, so it will produce shock, and finally they are going to produce the death. So this type of symptom you will find in case of acute copper toxicity. So this is going to produce the GI tract mucosa erosion. So this is very important. Regarding how much amount of copper that is going to produce the acute copper toxicity, a oral dose is 25 to 50 mg per kg body weight orally when you are going to administer, that is going to produce the acute copper toxicity. Regarding the diagnosis is concerned, diagnosis of acute copper toxicity are based upon history, clinical sign, as well as the lesion you will find. And confirmatory diagnosis of acute toxicity is elevated amount of copper when you will test the GI contact. If you are going to test the GI content or the kidney, then you will find the copper toxicity. And usually in acute toxicity, liver and in blood, the copper amount is not, you will find elevated. But in kidney and gastrointestinal tract, particularly gastrointestinal tract contents, you will find elevated copper level. Therefore, you will tell this is the copper toxicity. Regarding clinical sign of the acute copper toxicity is concerned, we earlier mentioned that this is going to produce the GI mucosa erosion, irritation and oxidation. Therefore, because of GI mucosa erosion you will and irritation, you will find the symptom. If there is irritation, it will produce salivation, it will produce nausea, it will produce vomission. If vomission is there, then colic, then because of vomission and hemorrhagic diarrhea, this is going to produce fluid loss. So when the fluid loss is there, dehydration is there, then shock is there. So when shock is there, animal is going to die. And sometime you will find the green tinge color in the GI tract, then you will this tell this is the copper toxicity. So this is about the clinical sign of the acute copper toxicity. Now we have to go through the lesion. So main affected organ in the acute toxicity is gastrointestinal tract as well as the kidney, and likewise you will find the lesion there also. So in GI tract, you will find severe gastrointestinal, and also you will find the congestion of the liver, kidney, and spleen, and blue green discoloration of GI tract and its content. You will find this is also a diagnostic feature, a diagnostic lesion for copper toxicity. Now we have to differentiate with the other toxicant, and then you have to rule out whether this is toxicity from copper or other toxicant. So we have to compare with the symptom associated with the other toxicant, and then you will tell the confirmatory diagnosis of the copper toxicity. And differential diagnosis we have to perform with the arsenic, mercury, then the selenium, and other infection, gastroenteritis. There you will find the symptom is also quite similar to the copper. So you have to differentiate with this one. Also, in also regarding now the last for the copper toxicity, acute copper toxicity, is the treatment or therapy of acute copper toxicity. For this acute copper toxicity is we are going is a non-specific and symptomatic. So which type of symptom you are getting? Vomission. So you have to check the vomission. Shock. So you have to check the shock. Then dehydration. So you have to rehydrate the animal. Then there is GI tract damage. So you have to give the drug which inhibit the GI damage. You have to use the adjuvant. So you have to go through the non-specific treatment here. I mean, in acute copper toxicosis or toxicity. Now we have to go through the second one is very important, that is the chronic copper toxicity in species sheep. So we have to discuss this in broad way. So as we earlier mentioned, chronic copper toxicity in sheep is because of accumulation of the copper in the liver, and thereafter in a stress condition, as well as if the liver is filled with the copper, then the copper is going to be released from the liver, and it will come in the blood and produce acute hemolytic crisis. So this is most commonly affected species is sheep, and this is only because of the excessive intake of copper. So when there is excessive intake of copper in sheep, you are going to give to the animal, or if the copper is too much taken by the sheep, then that copper is not going to be excreted out through the bile in proportionate way, and therefore copper is going to be accumulated in the liver and produces the accumulation of copper. So regarding sources of the copper is concerned, so feed additives and copper in diets that are the source of copper are copper sulfate, copper oxide, copper chloride. Natural copper present in the soil and the plants, and contaminated soil by mining or smelting, and the soil and plant that fertilize with the poultry litters and swine manure that also contain the high concentration of copper, and they are also the source of the copper toxicity. Now we have to go through the mechanism of toxicity in sheep, particularly the chronic toxicity in sheep. So first stage is the accumulation of the copper in the liver. So we earlier mentioned when the animal take more amount of copper in dietary. Dietary intake of copper is more in sheep. Then sheep are not able to excrete out the bile by biliary excretion. Then the copper is going to be accumulated in the liver and thus responsible for the toxicity. So initially when it get accumulated in the liver, in case of chronic copper toxicity in sheep, this is going to absorb from the small intestine by transport material present in the blood are albumin and transcuprine. So albumin and transcuprine present in the blood, they transport the copper in the liver, and therefore in the liver copper is going to stored in the lysosome as well as in mitochondria. So when the copper is going to stored in the liver in the organelles like lysosome and the mitochondria, usually it has not going to produce any toxicity, not toxicity when it gets stored in these organelles like lysosome and mitochondria. But at that time when you have to test the liver enzyme, liver function test by testing the liver enzyme like SGOT, SGPT, lactate dehydrogenase, then you will find the high raised SGOT, SGPT and other diagnostic enzyme in the liver. So this will give you the indication then there is some problem with the liver, because liver function is not performing well because of increase of the enzyme like SGOT, SGPT. So when this copper in mitochondria, hepatic mitochondria and hepatic lysosome, when you are going to stain with a particular stain rubinic acid, then this rubinic acid is going to expose that copper is highly accumulated in mitochondria and lysosome of the hepatocyte. And this, when this get accumulated there, and if the liver is not further going to accumulate this in lysosome and mitochondria, then this liver cell is going to release the stored copper from mitochondria and lysosome and releases it in the cytoplasm of hepatocyte. So when the copper from lysosome and mitochondria get released in the cytoplasm of hepatocyte, this is going to produce the cellular degeneration as well as the necrosis. And this is very important. And there the copper is in binding form with a protein, we are calling it metallothionein. So when this get not having the space to store the copper in the lysosome and mitochondria bind with metallothionein, then the copper is going to be released in the cytoplasm, and therefore this is going to produce the toxicity like necrosis of the liver and the degeneration. So we also discussed that the accumulation of the absorption as well as the accumulation of copper is also dependent mainly on molybdenum and sulfate. So if there is imbalance of these two physiological ligand, then this is going to produce the toxicity, chronic copper toxicity in sheep. How? This copper usually bind with the molybdenum is in the ratio of 4:3, is in form of copper molybdenate, and this copper molybdenate complex is going to excrete out the copper through the urine, and it prevent the accumulation of copper from in liver cell or hepatocyte, as well as the sulfate and the sulfide is also going to combine with the copper, and first it reduce the sulfate and sulfide to sulfides, and then it combined with the copper to form copper sulfide, and this copper sulfide is excreted out through the feces. So you can say the molybdenum and copper is participating in detoxification of copper toxicity through increasing the excretion of copper through urine and the feces. So therefore it is very very important regarding the toxicity of the copper, chronic copper toxicity in sheep. Next one is the hepatogenous. In the same is the hepatogenous or secondary copper toxicity. So what is this? Hepatogenous or secondary copper toxicity. This type of toxicity is clear cut indicating this is the secondary copper toxicity. So how this will occur? This is occur when the animals is going to take excessive amount of a plant like Senecia species or Heliotropium europaeum, then these plants are going to accumulate, are going to help to accumulate the copper in the liver, and this may not be concerned to the species. I mean those species other than sheep also is going to take this plant like Senecia species and Heliotropium europaeum. They are going to help to accumulate the copper in the hepatocyte, not depend on the sheep, because sheep is the species that is going to accumulate copper when there is high concentration of copper intake is going on. But when the animal is going to take more amount of this plant, whether the sheep or other species, they might produce the copper toxicity because this plant is going to helps in the accumulation of copper. So this is about the first point of the copper accumulation, chronic copper toxicity by accumulation of copper in the liver. Second point under this is the chronic copper toxicity in sheep, that will produce the acute hemolytic crisis. And how this will produce? When the copper gets stored in the liver, and if the liver is not sufficient to store further amount of copper, then the copper is going to be released in the cytoplasm of hepatocyte or liver, from liver to the blood, and therefore as well as also in physiological stress, when the copper is present in the liver, then the copper then the sheep in stress condition is going to release the copper from the liver to the blood, and therefore it produces the acute hemolytic crisis. How? When the excessive copper first released in the cytoplasm of the liver, then therefore produce the necrosis of the liver, and when it get released from the liver and come in the blood, then the copper is going to bind with the erythrocyte membrane and increase the fragility or breakdown of the erythrocyte, because this copper is going to bind with this membrane and produce oxidation of the membrane, and therefore it increases the fragility of the cell erythrocyte membrane, and therefore it produces the hemolysis and produces the acute hemolytic crisis. So when there is hemolysis occur, automatically anemia occur, the blood anemia occur. So this is very very important. As well as not only that, the copper is also going to bind with the hemoglobin to form methemoglobin. So as we know, when the copper is going to bind with the hemoglobin to form the methemoglobin usually don't have the property to carry the oxygen. So oxygen carrying capability of methemoglobin is lost. Therefore, it further aggravates the condition of hemolytic crisis. So we earlier mentioned excess copper first releases from the lysosome or mitochondria and produces the hemolysis as well as the hepatocellular necrosis. Hepatocellular necrosis because of its release of copper from lysosome and or mitochondria into cytoplasm of the liver and therefore produce hepatocellular necrosis. So when there is hepatocellular necrosis, always as hemolysis occur, this hemolysis is going to produce hemoglobin cast and hemoglobinuria, and because of hemolysis and hemoglobin cast, this is going to be stored in the kidney, and therefore it affect the kidney. So the toxicity is concerned with this one, the chronic toxicity of copper in the shape. This toxicity is of exposure of 2 to 10 week exposure in a species. And now we have to go through diagnosis of this copper toxicity in sheep. Clinical sign. Under the diagnosis, first we have to go through the clinical sign, lesion, then we have to go through the laboratory diagnosis. So under diagnosis of chronic copper toxicity in sheep is concerned, as we earlier already discussed, what is the mechanism of toxicity of copper. So copper get released in the blood and fragile and oxidize the erythrocyte membrane, then the erythrocyte get hemolyzed. So when erythrocyte get hemolyzed, it produce hemolytic crisis, therefore it produce anemia. This is very important, and the symptom is quite similar to the acute symptom. So acute toxicity type of symptom you will see seen in this case, because the heavy amount of the copper is get released. And when there is a acute anemia, then there is weakness occur. When there is weakness, then anorexia occur. Then there is hemolysis also leads to icterus, I mean jaundice-like condition. So if there is icterus and jaundice-like condition, the skin mucous membrane become pale, and because this is going to bind with the methemoglobin, or oxygen carrying capability of the hemoglobin get lost, therefore it produces difficulty in breathing called dyspnea. So these are the symptoms you will find with the copper chronic toxicity in sheep. However, the lesion is concerned, we already discussed, you will find the primary lesion concerned to the organ are like liver, kidney and spleen. In case of chronic copper toxicity, both in sheep as well as in the dog. And gross lesion you will find are when you see the liver is icterous or pale in color. When you have to see the spleen, you will find the pulpy spleen. So this pulpy spleen is indicating hemolysis, and this is also enlarged. Regarding kidney is concerned, kidney become dark in color because hemoglobin cast get deposited in tubules, renal tubules, and therefore it produce bluish black kidney. And because of deposition of hemoglobin cast, this give black dark color, bluish black dark color, and therefore kidney is called gallmetal kidney or black kidney. So this is about the grossly you have to see it. Now we have to go through the microscopic lesion. Under the microscopic lesion of chronic toxicity in sheep, the main organ is the liver. So liver get necrotized. So necrotic hepatocyte you will find. Regarding renal tuberosis necrosis is concerned, we already discussed hemoglobin cast. Now is in spleen, as we earlier mentioned, this is spleen get pulpy, and this is indicative of fermented erythrocyte in spleen. And now at the last under this is the laboratory diagnosis as well as the differential diagnosis of the chronic copper toxicity with the sheep. In the sheep, laboratory diagnosis is the mainly which organ is most affected. Most affected organ is the liver. So liver function enzymes are get elevated. So we have to check the liver function enzymes like SGOT, SGPT, lactate dehydrogenase, sorbitol dehydrogenase. So these enzymes you will find is increased because these are the in amongst these are the indicator of the liver function. So this you will find also when there is high copper accumulated in the liver, at that time liver function enzyme get increased. So this is very important, and we have to differentiate with the other diseases because their symptom is quite similar to the these diseases. Regarding treatment is concerned, which is very important. So this is the treatment of chronic copper toxicity in sheep. So in the treatment we also prefer those elements, those compounds which contain molybdenum or which contain sulfate. So for that one we have to use the ammonium tetrathiomolybdate. So ammonium tetrathio is indicating we are giving the sulfhydro group also, and we are also giving the molybdate. So this molybdate is going to bind with the copper and going to excrete out through the excretory route the bile as well as the feces. And other than this drug, I mean through the molybdate and sodium thiosulfate, we have to give other drugs like d-penicillamine. So as we know, d-penicillamine is the heavy metal toxicity antidote, and this d-penicillamine is possessing the sulfhydryl group, the SH group, and this is going to which this is copper is going to bind. So therefore we are going to treat with the d-penicillamine, ammonium tetrathiomolybdate, and we also have to supplement with the zinc because this zinc is going to reduce the copper accumulation in the liver. So these are the very important. And last one is the chronic hepatic copper accumulation in dog or chronic hepatic copper accumulation toxicity in dog. So we already mentioned regarding this is that this is a genetic predisposition disease, and this is a autosomal recessive trait genetic predisposition disease. In this is shown by few breeds of the dog, and these breeds are Bedlington Terrier, then West Highland White Terrier, Skye Terriers, Doberman Pinscher, Labrador Retrievers, Keeshond, American Cocker Spaniels. So these all breed are because of the genetic predisposition possessing the inherited property of autosomal recessive gene or trait to accumulate the copper in the liver, and therefore produces the chronic canine toxicity and the canine hepatic copper toxicity. And this is mainly seen in those dogs that are their age is probably in between 2 to 6 year of age. So it means young dogs are highly susceptible to accumulate the copper of that particular breed which is inherited trait, that is the autosomal recessive trait. So because of that, that is going to be accumulated in the liver. Uh, Regarding when this copper is going to be starting accumulated in the liver, you will find symptoms similar to the acute toxicity, that is the weakness, vomition, anorexia. And mechanism of toxicity of this copper is concerned, the similar to the other, the same mechanism of action. How? The copper is going to accumulate with the lysosome, and probably in this lysosome, or you can say the mitochondria of the hepatocyte, bind with the metalloprotein called metallothionein, and that bind form that get stored in the lysosome and mitochondria of the hepatocyte, and therefore copper get accumulated. So when copper liver is not having not having the storage capacity to further store the copper, then the copper gets released from the lysosome or mitochondria to the cytoplasm of the liver as well as in the blood, and therefore it produces the toxicity, and because of its release in the cytoplasm produce the necrosis, and because this is the oxidant that is going to produce the inflammation. Regarding diagnosis of this chronic toxicity in dog is concerned, similar to that, the diagnosis is the same based upon the clinical sign. So usually the dogs of under 6 years of age affected with the chronic copper toxicity accumulation toxicity, and the acute symptom exhibit the dogs are vomition, anorexia, weakness, and dehydration. However, in older dogs the symptom is quite different, but anorexia is also there. So when there is anorexia, automatically it produces weight loss, it produces icterus, ascites, and hepatic encephalopathy. Occasionally hemolytic crisis is with the copper. Occasionally, hemolytic crisis has been seen with the chronic copper toxicity in dog, not in sheep. Now we have to go through the lesion, both microscopic and gross lesion. So regarding gross lesion of the copper toxicity in dog is concerned, if you want to see the liver as a gross lesion, then you will find the necrotic area, large necrotic area in the liver, to a small cirrhotic also, and microscopic. If you will say this is because of the copper, then you have to stain the liver with the rubenic acid, and this is a copper stain, rubenic acid is copper stain, and then you will see the whether the copper is accumulated in the hepatocyte or not. Now we have to go through the laboratory diagnosis. So we already discussed earlier that the main affected organ is the liver. So you will find liver enzyme get increased because of disturbance of the liver function, as because of the high content of the copper in the liver. Regarding treatment is concerned, this is very interesting and important. So treatment is with the similar to the chronic in sheep, that we are going to give the penicillin for the month, for the year, for the lifetime, depending on the recovery of the animal. As well as we are going to give supportive therapy so that the copper should be excreted out, like ascorbic acid is helping to increase the copper excretion. However, the corticosteroid is also going to be administered to stabilize the liver so that lysosome is not going to release the copper from the lysosome to the cytoplasm of the liver to produce the toxicity. So this is all about your today class.